welcome to Bodybuilders Amateur Hours Bar Talk. We have special guest Lee Priest joining, Andy Briggs, Devin Trenholm, and Jamie Patterson. Holy crap. Welcome, Lee. How's it going, big guy?
Thank you. Yeah, not too bad. Nice, cold, foggy morning here. We're in wintertime, so I guess you're in summertime, so
That's right.
not too bad for a cold day. It's one of those, got up at 4 o'clock and had the heater on. I'm like, should I go to the gym at 5, go at 6? Yeah, I did this the other day, and by 10 o'clock I was still sitting there going, should I go at 11? Ah, fuck it, I'll go tomorrow. So I just went at 5. If I sit there too long and think about it, I never go.
I think a lot of us have that problem.
Yeah,
you just
sounds like me. Yeah.
All right, so I'll just give a little brief explanation there, Lee. This is like Bodybuilders Amateur Hour. We're pretty much focused on amateur bodybuilding and trying to give amateurs the spotlight, or educating amateurs that are coming up through the ranks and trying to get the pro card, or just trying to just do well at the sport and do it safely. So between all of us here that you see, we have probably over about 90 years experience all put together, which is fantastic. And all of us have followed your career for quite a long time, and you have been an idol. And this moment right now is, I'm sweating. You're like, this is a little like, it's great.
He's taking some MDMA before the interview. Look at him.
My hands are going. You see, you could call it.
Not to sound like a little teenage girl, but I'm just really, really ready to pass out. So, Lee, I followed you right. I'm near 50 years old, and I've been doing bodybuilding first contest since I was 18, and I've followed you ever since then. And yeah, it's just amazing to have you here talking to us. And
Thank you. I know the feeling. I just turned 51, so I'm like, oh, fucking hell. How
I knew you.
Get to this age?
I just seen that. I was researching some stuff. I was seeing how old you were. But yeah, when I was 18, I had your picture up on my wall. I cut it out of Muscular Development magazine. Your picture, framed it, put it up on the wall.
Muscular Development used to do a lot of good photo shoots.
Yeah. No, it was good. Yeah, it was the black and white one.
To the young kids listening, Muscular Development, like Flex, used to be a magazine with pages that you used to turn.
Yeah, it's not an app on your phone.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Andy is just shy, apparently.
I'm shy. I've followed you ever since. I mean, you disappeared for a while there, but up until that point, man, I was your biggest fan.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I know when you get Jay Cutler on, and then you're going to say the same shit. I know.
No, man. This would be very different. So I also want to.
Jay's more professional.
Yeah, no. And this is definitely not the place for that, so it's okay. So okay. I just want to put out a warning too, just in case. I don't know where this is going to go, but if you're sensitive and
easily offended, don't listen anymore.
Yeah, turn it off. Because
get it.
Yeah. They would have stopped listening to us or watching us a long time ago if that was the case. Yeah.
But they never do that. Even the haters, because you do podcasts and it's always the same fucking idiots who write in the comments, oh, you're talking shit again, this and that. I'm thinking, then why do you fucking watch? Every time you make the same comment, right? You still watch it. Like,
yeah.
I don't get the mentality of those people that hate.
No.
They'll hate a certain podcast, they'll hate a certain group of people, but they still fucking watch and comment. I'm like, go get a fucking life, for God's sakes.
And then there'll be the same people that go and comment on your Instagram. Yeah. There'll be the same people going and commenting on Instagram or then all the other platforms too, because they're still following you. It's
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. They'll follow you still. They just.
I like when they actually send you. I like when they actually send me a message and they're like, well, I put up a post once where I support the police. Oh, you support the fucking police, do you? I'm gonna unfollow you. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, Well, I'm glad you told me you're going to unfollow me, because every night at 6 p.m. I had to start a new account because Instagram deleted my old one. So I'm up around the 450,000. So around 6 p.m. every night when I do a head count, I'm glad you told me you're not going to follow me anymore, so I wouldn't have to recount thinking I fucking made a mistake. It's like, as if I'm going to fucking notice.
Oh,
As if I'm
man.
going to notice you unfollowed me, but they've got to make a point
Yeah.
to tell me, like, oh no, don't go, don't go. It's like, fuck off, I don't give a shit.
Did anything ever come of that guy that messaged you with his hood on in his car, yelling at you and challenging you to a fight like a year ago?
No. Like I've said
Do you
before,
remember that?
Vaguely. I've had so many idiots like that where they're like, you know, the last 2 years I've been doing boxing just for cardio, you know, because it's good cardio boxing and shit. You put up a little video, you think you can fucking fight, do you? I'll fucking knock you out. I'm like, oh, fuck, you're dead. I'm like, where did this come from? I said, well, if you want to knock me out, I'm not hard to find. I go to the same gym every day. If I'm doing an expo or I'm doing a seminar, it says, Lee Priest is here at this day at this time. I said, I'm a hitman's wet dream. You can find me anytime. But in all these years, I've never had anyone come say it to your face. It's always like, always online. Oh, fuck this, fuck that. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Before we go any further,
Okay.
Go ahead,
Go
Jane.
ahead, Josh.
I was going to say, before we go any further, I just want to do some housekeeping and remind people to like this video, subscribe, and there it is. Hit that bell button. We'll throw in a little bell sound there.
That's my thing. That's my thing, Lee.
That's Jamie's job.
You've mastered that well.
You should have seen how many times you had to practice that, though. Fucking screwed it up.
I fucked it up like 10 times before I got it right.
Should I use this hand or should I use this hand? What hand looks bigger when I do it? Does this one make me look bigger?
Yeah, they made me do it like 4 times before I got it right. Fuck.
Yeah.
Bit it more to the left. The bell's a bit over here.
I had a question for you, Lee.
Let's get it rolling, guys.
Yeah. When was your last IFBB show? In the IFBB, I know you're not a big fan of
2006,
but
2006 Ironman that I won was that was my last IFBB when I then got banned, and because I did the PDI that year as well, the New York and English PDI show, and then I got banned and suspended. So 06, only a few months ago.
Yeah, it's like only.
You got sixth in Olympia 3 times, was it?
But my first Olympia I actually got 5th. My first Olympia I got 5th.
Oh, you did?
Delet was 4th, and Kevin was 6th. And then when the show was over, on the way to the banquet, they changed the scores. Somehow I got moved from 5th to 6th. Kevin went from 6th to 4th, and Paul Delet went from 4th to 5th. They changed it after the show, so I still had the certificate and the shitty fucking crystal fucking fruit bowl that said 5th place on it. Just didn't get the money for 5th place.
Yeah. That was 97 ish.
Yeah. I could have done the Olympia earlier. I could have been like one of the youngest to ever do it, but I think it was 94 or 5 I could have done it, but I got suspended that year and couldn't do it. So
you've been suspended a lot.
Oh yeah, it's like at least once every. I think in total I might have got 5 suspensions, and I got the lifetime suspension, and I paid like 17,000 in fines. So I probably paid more in fines than some people won being a pro.
Oh, that's very true. That's great. All right, I'm gonna pull some. All right. So yeah, just got a couple. Well, I put a question box out there, and we ended up with I think around 33 questions, but we're not going to go through them all. Some of them are I'd
say 33 questions. 31 were all about drugs.
No,
typical fucking body
20.
What drugs do they take? What do
drugs?
Shut the fuck up. Here's an idea. Go train, eat, and then worry about the drugs later. But now, every board or thing I go on, so many young kids, that's all I talk about, drugs, trend.
Yeah.
I wonder what the pros use. I wonder, it's like, who gives a fuck what they use? It doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So many people could take all the drugs in the world and never gain anything, but it's like, well, I'm taking, because I was honest with my drug use and the amount I use, and people go, well, he's lying. How can he only take 400 a test? I'm on 1,000 and I don't look like him. Yeah, because you got shit fucking genetics. That's why you don't look like me on 1,000 of testosterone. You could take 5,000 and still look like shit. You know, some people just need a reality check. It's like I said all the time, for some reason, you know, we've all got friends that play tennis or golf. They do it for fun. It's a hobby. They enjoy it. Keeps them fit. But my friends that do tennis for fun, they're not saying, oh, next year I'm going to take on Djokovic and fucking this and that and be professional and win. It's like, no, but every dickhead that goes into the gym thinks they're going to be fucking Mr. Olympia for some reason. I'm like, here we go, another one. That's why I always tell people, if you love training and you train hard and you got your nutrition right and you have the genetics, you'll know that you're built for it, because you'll just start lifting weights. We've all seen them, the guys that just go into the gym and overnight you're like, fuck, he's growing by the week. You think he's on drugs because he just naturally grows and responds so good. And there's people like that, but then you get the other people where, you know, nothing's going to fucking help them. They just keep taking more drugs. And it's like 10 years goes by, they still look exactly the same, and they think there's some secret out there, which sadly, there's no fucking secret, that's for sure.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because if it was about the drugs, we would, all of us here would be on the Olympia
like
stage. You. Exactly right. Because we've all put the work in. It's all genetics when it comes down to like how your body responds, and like even how your body responds clearing it out, taking them in. Like you can
I don't get why there's so much emphasis on it, because really, I've always said the drugs are a 5%. Everything else, the training, the nutrition, the rest, your whole lifestyle comes before the drug side does. But yet everyone's putting the cart before the horse, and they want to know all about the drugs first. Before, like I said, I always get these young kids who are 18, 19 wanting to do drugs. I'm like, your testosterone's, you know, at its peak around then. I'm always said, go as far as you can naturally. And then if you're going to make a career or go into that thing, then maybe start adding the drugs in. But to add them in, like, I know people, they're on drugs before they join a gym. It's like, well, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, try and go as far as you can naturally, train your ass off, and then when that natural thing starts dying off and you're not making the gains anymore, if you want to pursue it and go further, then maybe look into doing drugs. And then if you are going to do them, I've always said, just start with one in a low amount. If you're going to take Deca or Test, take 200 to 300 milligrams a week. That's it. But only take one drug, because some of these young kids, they're like, oh, take this a trend and then 1,000 and this. I'm thinking, okay, you're taking 4 different drugs on your first cycle. How do you know which drug's working for you the best and which one's not? At least if you do one drug by itself each time, you know which one works best for your body, because everyone's different. But they go have these big fucking cycles to begin with where 1,000 of this, 1,000 of that. That's their first cycle ever. So next time, well, I did 1,000. This time I got to go 1,200. It's like they keep fucking going up. It's like, it's just fucking crazy. And when I was in England, I spoke to some young kids over there. They're on like 5 grams of test a week. I'm like, where the fuck do you put all that shit? It's like,
holy.
Fucking a pin cushion. Like that would be so uncomfortable. Like,
and the thing is, when you look at them too, you'd be like, some of them, you're like, fuck, do you even lift? I'm thinking, what's we had 5 grams of test, you'd be thinking you should be looking like Coleman or Yates or Phil Heath. You should be looking fucking freaky for that amount of drugs. If it was just drugs, then fuck, you should be Mr. Olympia taking that amount.
100%. We have that here. I think it must be like a worldwide thing. We have that here. Like, just like we got kids and even adults that take so much crap, and they, like, we were saying this last night on our podcast, like they're taking so much stuff and you would never tell. You just like, there's no change. Like, it's all, they train like shit and they rely on the drugs and they think it's the key. But
I know.
Like I said, 5%, right?
Exactly. They got it backwards, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So but sadly, I guess with the internet too, you know, all these people come out and everyone's talking about it, because, you know, I was like, even Paul Dillette lived with me for 8 months, and, you know, we'd eat at the firehouse. There'd be Gary Stridham, Flex Wheeler, like all of us. And not once did we ever discuss drugs. It just never came up, because I don't care what Chris was doing or what Flex was doing, because we're all different. I knew what drugs worked for me. So even when Dillette stayed with me for 8 months, not once did we discuss steroids, even talk about it, because who cares? But
because it doesn't really matter.
No, but there's so much emphasis put on it now. I'm thinking, if you people put as much time into your training and eating and everything else that you do, talking about drugs, looking at drugs, what's the best combination, and then they go online to the same people. Is Mike O'Hearn natty or not? Who gives a fuck? Worry about yourself. Go fucking train. Like, stop worrying about what other people are doing. Just go fucking train your ass off. And like I said, if it's meant to be, it will happen. So it's just crazy.
I have a 23-year-old son, and he's coming up, and he's been asking a lot of stuff about that and on the internet. And I have a job in the world to rein him back and keep him so that it's just nutrition. It's nutrition and training. Oh, yeah. Don't even worry about it until we hit your peak and see what you got.
Exactly.
And I seen him. Like I said, I was telling the boys last night, he had a little surgery, and he kind of set him back for about 6 months. And he was training really good before that, and then he had a little surgery and get back into it, and he ballooned. I said, wow. And I said, what are you on? He said, Dad, he said, I'll tell you when I am. And I couldn't. it was hard for me to realize or think that he wasn't, because of the way he went right after he came out, and he promised me he wasn't, and I know I talked to him a lot, and so what he's doing right now, and I'm trying to keep him in the reins and do his nutrition and training, and I mean, he's 23, he's a grown man, so he can make his decisions, but I'm going to be there to help him along, because he's a big internet guy, and he listens and thinks, so anyway, I got quite a bit of influence on him, but that's my case with the young people is him. Like, I watch him.
You see, I never got into the internet stuff. I never read it. It's like, remember, you got all those bodybuilding anabolic steroid handbooks and stuff. Not once. Yeah. I think I looked in it once towards the back where it had photos. This is the fake bottle. This is the real bottle. I'm like, well, fuck, I can't tell the difference. So I never once read any of the articles. Never read what drugs work good together with this one. Like, I used growth hormone only twice my whole life, in 94 and 96. And the money I spent on it, I'm like, I didn't really notice anything. Probably because I was still 22 and that. First time I took 2 IUs, then 4 IUs. And I'm like, that's a waste of money. I'd rather use Winstrol, because I know that gets me in shape. But I'm thinking, now I'm 51, maybe growth hormone might help me now, just help me rejuvenate something. But back then, I just didn't see the thing in it. I never did insulin, where everyone was out doing insulin later on with growth. Never. I just stuck to, like I said, Dianabol, Deca, Sus 250 and Primabol, and back in those days, and Anadrol. And even now, like I said, for TRT, if I remember, I take like 1 ml of Sus 250 every 8-9 days, but then sometimes I'll be like, oh fuck, 2 weeks goes by, I forget to take it. So it's not like I'm regimented on even doing that. I'm like, who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah. That's me now. Yeah, now that I'm retired. When did you turn pro? 20 years old
to do it. Yeah. What's that?
Were you 20 when you turned pro?
Just 19, turned 20.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy these days.
Because I started competing, like, my first 3 bodybuilding shows I won, I was only 13 years old when I won my first 3 bodybuilding shows.
Yeah, so that kind of makes this questions and answer thing a little different than most people that we've had on, because we like to dive into a bit of their amateur career. But yours was relatively short, and you were pretty young.
From 13 to 19, 6 years.
Right? Where some people go 50 years. Or, maybe get the pros
like
and the masters.
I was Mr. Australia when I was 17, my first Mr. Australia.
Right. So, okay, we got a couple. I'll just dive right into that part. Your first competition when you were 13, right? And I'm just really curious, as a 13-year-old boy coming up, competing, and looking the way you did, how did your peers look at you? How did your friends did your friends acknowledge this? Did they think you were crazy? Like, did you have a normal childhood? Were you broccoli and rice kid all the way through?
No, I was fried chicken wings and all the good fattening foods. I still am. So now, when I got into bodybuilding, I was like, I've done other sports, team sports. I even went to magic school for 2 years, and I figured, I'm going to do magic on stage and they're going to see, I'm going to fuck the trick up. So I said, I can't do that. So I started training and developed, okay, so someone goes, oh, there's this new division, schoolboys 18 years and under, you should do it. And so I told my mum I might do a bodybuilding show. She's like, "Oh, you're too shy to get up there on stage and give that a go." I'm like, "I'll give it a go," and won my first show. But yeah, when I was dieting, I mainly just ate chicken, tuna, sometimes rice. Sometimes I just had plain pasta with tomato sauce on it and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say I was massively big, but I was just like a lean, pretty shredded greyhound at the time. But you could see all the muscles and everything. So I was in proportion. But yeah, some of the guys were pissed off because they were like 18 and been training longer. And here comes this 13-year-old kid. I remember when I was 14, I placed third in a men's open type division. So I'm 14. I get third place, and big guys who are in their 30s and 40s, they're like a fuck him. He's like a young kid beating us. So,
man, that would be, oh man, if that was me on the other end, I would be pissed.
I would be too.
But also, I would also be amazed and probably admire like the physique, right? But like, yeah, I couldn't imagine. So you were scared.
I was only 17 when I won my first Mr. Australia overall, and most guys in that were anywhere from their 20s through to their 40s and probably 50s. So having a 17-year-old win the overall Mr. Australia, they're like, "Oh, fuck off."
Yeah.
And you were too young then. Lee, you were too young for them to give you a pro card at 17. Is that what that was?
Yeah, they said I was too young to go pro, so I won it again when I was 18. They still said I was too young. Won it again when I was 19. I was still too young, and I was still in the lightweight division at the Worlds as well. I'm thinking I'm holding myself back because I stayed natural so I could do the world titles. I've been world titles and that. So halfway through, because if you see those photos where I'm standing, they're like some are taken in the bush, and I'm like 19. People go, "He's on gear here." I said, "No, I'm not." I said, towards the end, when I was almost 20, I did DECA 200 milligrams, and I put 20 pounds on. I'm still 19. Now take the 19-year-old picture at the beginning of the year and the one near the end of the year. You can see when I went on the gear quite easy. So 20 pounds of muscle on my frame, you can notice the difference.
Like a huge difference.
Yeah.
Oh. So you getting denied your pro card a few times. Do you agree with that still? Or like if a kid was coming up right now today and that was happening to them, would you look back and be like, yeah, that's probably a good idea? Or would you, let's say, if I could give it to him?
So I think in any other sport, if you're good enough, you're good enough. And I always figured probably being Australian didn't help me in that. But I'm sure if I was American, came up through the NPCs and I was good enough at 17 to win a Nationals of the USA and get a pro card, I don't think that'd hold me back. They'd probably be promoting you as the youngest ever to do it and stuff. So
probably,
yeah,
definitely.
Had, like, the people that run it here in Australia were probably like, "Lee's pretty good. We want to keep him here and don't let him go," type thing. And it used to be like that. A famous Australian racehorse, Farlap, that won every race and then it left the country to won races and then it got killed. So my great grandmother didn't like when I was going to go pro and go to America. She's like, "Don't let him go to America. Remember what they did to the racehorse Farlap? They killed him." I said, "What? I'm going to be that good? They're going to kill me when I go to America?"
They're going to kill him.
Yeah.
No, they just banned him a whole bunch of times. That's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fuck him otherwise.
Yeah.
Right,
Make him quit.
Lock
That's what
him
I
up.
said. They're like, "We'll fuck him and make him quit so we don't have to put up with him." I'm thinking, like you said, my last IFBB show was 06. I'm still around doing podcasts and going to events. They're probably like, "The fuck is still around? We can't
It's
get
like,
rid of him."
how is he doing this? Right? It's like, yeah, your longevity in the sport is like just iconic. Like when I mentioned you coming on the stage, when you mentioned Lee Priest, your name sits among like the greats, right? people are like, yep, it's Ronnie, Jay.
Very polarizing. Very polarizing. I either like it or they fucking hate it. Like,
Right.
Well, did you hear what he said on such and such podcast? He's a racist. Did you hear what he said over there? He's this. It's like, just because I joke around on any subject, people either try and put me in a category of something, I'm like, whatever.
But people,
I don't think they really hate you though. I think they just want to start shit. They just like to talk. I think everyone loves you.
Yeah.
Even the haters.
I'm going to let my cat in. My cat's going to kick the door down.
Yep.
Hey, cat. Here you go. Yeah.
Yeah. What's his, I seen your Instagram post with the cat sitting on you, keeping you from the gym the other day.
Here he comes.
Beautiful.
Hey.
I'll have to get my kitty in here.
He's happy now.
Yeah, that's perfect.
It's about when you get to my age. When you get to my age, this is the only pussy you get anyway. So
I highly doubt that.
And no people out there, I didn't mean it that way. I'm not into bestiality. You fuckers who've got to start talking. No. I tried that once. The fucker's got sharp claws. He didn't appreciate it.
It didn't work out so well.
No.
That's why all the tattoos are covering the scar marks. Yeah.
So Lee, I was making a joke the other day about that with like pornos and that. I don't know what I was joking about, but I was saying, isn't it weird? You watch these pornos and you see the double penetration and all this sort of stuff.
All the time, yeah.
Have you tried that with a mate? It doesn't quite go as peacefully as it does in the pornos. It's like, what the fuck? You're trying to DP someone. Yours is going in, theirs is coming out. You can't get the action going at the same time. I said, this is fucking bullshit. On the porno, it's so easy. In real life, it's fucked. I'm getting the cramp in my leg. I got my leg fucking up here like this. I'm fucking like, fuck that.
You got to really communicate with that shit. You got to count it.
It's too complicated.
You got to communicate. You got to, yeah. Just takes practice, man.
So Lee, it looks like you're keeping your size. Like, what do you weigh in right now?
In pounds, probably. Well, we're in kilos here, so I'm sitting around 100 kilos, so that's probably close to 220 pounds, just sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's about right. Yeah, 220, 227, or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So is it?
That's amazing.
Is it hard to keep? I barely eat sometimes too. Like I might only have 2 meals a day. I'll have breakfast, then I might have dinner. But during the day, I can just be doing shit. I just can't be bothered eating. I might just sit there watching YouTube and go get a banana, have a little bit of yogurt. Like I've never really, contest time I was always regimented on meals and stuff. But if I was never competing, I'm just very lackluster on when I eat. And I just,
That's super genetics. That's
when the genetics, exactly. It's when the genetics come into play.
Yeah. Well, when you take when you're looking at a 13-year-old picture of Lee Priest and he looks like he's 28 years old and ready on stage, it's just super extra super genetics.
So talking about,
I don't know.
And how tall are you, Lee? Like 5'5"?
5'4".
5'4"?
5'2". I say I'm 5'5" and a half. And people go, what are you at the half for? I said, because you go to the doctors and the doctor makes you stand up against the wall and brings the tape measure down. The doctor always says 5'5" and a half. So that's what I am. I know. I've seen online. I'm 5'2", I'm 5'1". I just read the comments.
You got to get that half in there.
Us short guys,
you do.
Us short guys want every half inch we got.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't we all?
Yep.
It's funny though, because people always think that, I don't know why, air comments sometimes, you fucking midget, you dwarf, tatty face dwarf. I'm like, I've never had a problem with my height. I don't know why other people do. It's like, it's always, then you get the tall guys. It's easier for you short guys to build muscle because you're short. I said, I know plenty of tall guys with good genetics to build muscle. I said, maybe you just got fucking shit genetics and you're tall. That's it. If you're shorter, look how many short people are out there who can't build muscle. There's more of them, so it ain't being short. It's your genetics, no matter what fucking height you are. Ronnie Coleman didn't have a problem building muscle. Paul Dillett didn't. The world's strongest men. Sergio Oliva doesn't. So if you got good genetics, it doesn't matter the fucking height. But tall people try to use it with me all the time. Well, if I only had this part of squat, I could have big legs too. I was like, oh yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
That kind of goes into like, I've gotten like 7 questions about arm training, and I know what your answer is going to be because I've watched many podcasts.
High volume.
Right. It's like,
I've always done high volume now, and people go, well, you've got good genetics. That just works for you. I said, look, I could take that, say yes, but also every person I trained with, when I first started training with them, they might have done 6 sets or 9 sets at most, 12 tops, because they're like, when I do chest and shoulders, your triceps get a bit of work, which they do indirectly, and so does your biceps a bit from training back and that. But I said, it's like any other body part. If you want your legs to grow, your chest to grow, you punish the shit out of it. And bis and tris are the same. So I used to look back at Arnold, Sergio, all them back in the day, and Eddie Robinson, all the guys with big arms, they all did high volume. And I've always done 20 sets for bis, 20 for tris minimum, which isn't much. You pick 4 exercises, 5 sets on each. It's not much, but I just found that if you want them to grow like any other body part, you really got to do them hard. Whereas some people, it's like hammies sometimes. People will train the fuck out of their quads. When it comes to hammies, they go, a few leg curls, that's it. So when you get on stage, you have these big quads and shitty hammies. So I put as much into the smaller groups as I do the big groups, and it's always worked well. So I don't, people just go, I just do 6. I'm thinking 6. I'd start sometimes with 7 sets, just the barbell curl.
Yeah, just to get it. Yeah, that's Chris Pinero. I'm just going to name off some people that are asking questions. Is there anything like different from your arm training, like for competition, say compared to
my training contest off season never changed. The only thing that changed was my diet and adding the cardio. Training wise, I kept everything exactly the same. Like with arms, major body groups, if I'm doing basic movements, I do 6 to 8 reps at the most. I never went for singles or anything less than 6. With legs and cable type movements, I might do 12 reps, but anything like barbell curl, dumbbell curl, if I was doing dumbbell presses for chest, or 6 to 8 around that range. But legs, I could go into the 50s and that on them, because legs respond pretty much to high reps, low reps, anything like that. So, but no, I never did anything different. People go, what do you do for your arms, Lee? I'm like, I do the fucking same as you. I do barbell curl, dumbbell curl. And people always ask me what I do for forearms. Luckily, I've never trained forearms, so I've always just been lucky. My grandfather, mother had good, just from hanging on, they grew. But every year I'd always tell myself, imagine if I train them, how big they could get. That would be
probably
good.
Uncomfortable.
Now as I'm getting older, I'm thinking, I don't really feel like doing back today. I don't really feel like doing this because my shoulder's sore. I've got it. I'm just going to do forearms and calves, because now I always wear the shorts that come to my knees. Like this shirt's ridden up, but normally my shirt's sitting near my elbow here like this. So I figure, if I just do forearms and calves, it's all people see anyway. So if my forearms and calves look good, they'll be like, fuck, you must be big everywhere else. In reality, I'm fucking shit everywhere else. I just got good forearms and calves.
That's a good plan.
Bodybuilding, yeah, it's bodybuilding. It's the illusion, right? We all just want to. We all just want to look.
This guy in America's making me like a new Superman suit, like the actual one from the movie that Henry Cavill wears. But it's all muscle, got the muscles and that. And he asked how big do I want the guy. So we'll make it 2 inches bigger than what I already am. So he's made this muscle suit, but without the cape on, right? Because the thing's so tight. It's those muscle suits that actually move, so it looks like real muscle. So I think I'm going to disconnect the, put the muscle suit on, and then put real clothes over the top. I'll be like, fuck, I'm going to be jacked. I'm just going to wear this around.
Then everyone's going to think you're going to be competing. Everyone's going to be like, Lee's stepping on stage.
My ass off. Yeah. You see me in a turtleneck, sweat my ass off, and I look really jacked. I got a Superman suit underneath.
Do you still got the Superman tattoo, Lee? On your shoulder?
Still up there.
Still got it?
I think that's the one. It's probably faded now, but still there. You can vaguely see it.
Yeah.
That's still blended in.
Yeah.
And Lee's the reason why I got mine.
Oh,
Lee's the
reason.
I got that a long time ago, Lee, and I seen it on you, and that's why I went and did it. Right.
I used to have, like, when I used to do expos, I had so many guys come up to me, I got this tattoo because of you, and they want me to autograph under it. And then I was in Columbus the next day, they come back, and where I signed, they went and had my signature tattooed
over
and
it.
Then this girl came up once, and her boyfriend was with her, and she pulls her pants down the back, and right above her butt crack, she had a Superman tattoo. And then I had my name beside it. It's like, she got that because of you. He goes, now when I'm doing a doggy style, I have to look at your name all the fucking time.
That's a good one.
Shit. Oh, God. Yeah, but when we got that tattoo, Chris called me and Sean Davies from England went to the tattoo shop in Venice. We're all going to get tattoos, so there's only 2 chairs available. So Sean Davies started getting the British Bulldog. I get this one, and again Chris is like, goes, oh, that looks a bit painful. He goes, see you later. I'll fuck it off. And Chris took off and did it.
just left.
Yeah.
I'm not, fuck that noise. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So
later on, he got some, but that day we all planned on getting the Chris Lowe's. Oh, see you later. Like, oh, fuck off.
Oh man. So like seeing like Jamie with the tattoo and people getting your name like tattooed on their bodies, like what is that like? Like is there probably in the beginning it was probably really strange to like comprehend that you're affecting so many people like across the entire world. And like
well, that's the thing. I don't get that. Like I appreciate it when I go places and like even now, like on the weekend, we're in town, just parking the cars up there, eating meat pies and shit food, and so many people go past. Oh, you're Lee Priest. Can I have a photo? My mates are like, oh, Lee Priest. They start rubbing into me. I said, I just find it weird because I've never had an ego. I hate people that do, whether you be a movie star or sports person. I'm like, you're just fucking like everybody else. Okay, so you're good at bodybuilding and you're professional, or you're a great movie star. It doesn't make you better than anybody else. I might be a great professional bodybuilder, but it doesn't make me better than Bob down the road, who's probably a great plumber. I'm no better than him. So that's when people say, oh, you're Lee Priest and that, because to me, I'm just Lee. I'm just a fucking dickhead that jokes around and has fun. So I don't really see that when people, oh, you did this, or I have people, because I've talked about suicide before and stuff like that, oh, you saved my life. So it is sort of weird when people talk about things like that and they say how you've changed their life or you got them into this stuff. Because like I said, to me, I'm just Lee doing what I love doing, just like you guys. You go to the gym, you train hard. Luckily, okay, I turned professional and people got to know me, but I still find it weird to this day when somebody wants a photo or stuff like that. Because to me, like I said, I'm just Lee. I'm just a big fucking dickhead. So I don't know how I've inspired. Like when people go, I got into training because of you, I'm like, hey, don't blame me for your fucking stupidity. It's like, you know.
Like, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on like a very miniature scale compared to you, but like starting the podcast and I'm doing quite well as in my for competing and within my weight class. And I'm getting people DMing me and coming up to me, strangers all the time now, throughout like locally. And it's a really great and humbling feeling, but it is all it's very strange.
Weird, isn't it? Because I know Fuad gets it a lot too, because I do podcasts for shit. I talk about anything, different marriages I've had, sex life, when I've done drugs before.
Oh my God.
When I committed suicide, anything like that, and people can relate to it, and that's why I get lots of messages all the time where you never know who's watching, and just something you might think is a silly story, people can relate to. That's why I talk about anything, because as crazy as I think shit is that I've done, someone's probably done it, or somebody could be going through the same thing, whether it be depression or anxiety and stuff like that. There's so many people out there that watch who can relate, because how many times do you have things in your life and you think to yourself, fuck, I'm the only one that's going through this, or I'm the only one this is happening to, when it happens to so many people. So I think if you can talk about anything like that in all aspects, good and bad, no matter what it is, I think it opens up the door and people can relate to it, and it helps them. So, because some people go, we don't want to talk on that subject. When I talked about suicide, when I tried to kill myself, people were like, oh, you shouldn't talk about this. I said, why? I said, people go through it. I said, for me, when I remember when I did it the first time, because people go, you got to see the signs, this and that. I said, generally people who I've known have done it, like I had a friend of mine that did it once. We're out for dinner Sunday night. Lee, I'll see you tomorrow, we'll do this. Wednesday, we'll do this. Monday morning, he was dead. So we went from being happy, and I said, I've been there where that whole Friday when I did it that night, I was just being normal, trained, had a great day. But then I went to this dark place, and within 2 hours, I went down the rabbit hole, darker and darker. That I got the knife out and cut my wrist. And I said, the only thing that woke me up was, of course, the knife was blunt. So that pissed me off. I'm like, oh, fuck, I can't even do that right. Where I started bleeding. In my mind, I said, fuck, in the movies, when you cut your wrist, the blood starts spurting out. I said, this is barely a trickle. I'm like, maybe I didn't go deep enough. So I got the blood knife and went to do it again. And when I put the knife into the cut already, fuck, it stung that bad. I went, fuck, what am I doing? It sort of snapped me out of it.
Whoa.
But like, if I had proceeded that whole day, people wouldn't have said there was no signs, because I just took myself to a dark place. Once you get that dark place, you start thinking more negative shit. And it's almost like you're giving yourself a reason to fucking do it. You can do it. Yep. It's like that sort of thing. Put on sad music. And then, like I said, once I stung, I snapped out. I went, what the fuck am I doing? So sometimes when, you get people that say, I'm going to kill myself, Generally, they never do. They just trying to get attention. Like I said, all the people that I've known done it, you never know it was coming. It's just like something happened at some certain point, and they just did it. And like I said, thankfully, I was in Australia where I had a knife, didn't have guns, because I figured, maybe if I had a gun then, there would have been no coming back if I had just gone kaboom. So
yeah, there would have been. You wouldn't have felt that sting. So for sure.
My luck, they would probably do it wrong and just blow half my head off.
Just like this podcast would be super. This podcast would be super awkward.
Keeping me alive on a fucking machine. I can't talk. I'll be like rocking back and forth in my own feces, doing this. Everyone will be like, look at Lee, he's so strong, he wants to live. But in my mind, I'm thinking, turn the machine off, cunt, turn it off. I want to die.
It's like, oh man, stay still. We can't. It's like we try to ask you questions, man. Stop rocking. Yeah. No, I totally get it, and like we've all gone. Well, we've all known somebody, for sure.
Yeah,
and to be open and
why kids, whether it's been like, these young kids now, where it's the internet, they're trying to live up to a certain thing or whatever. Like, just be yourself. Don't give a fuck about other people. But that's why I'm always me. You like me or you don't. But I know people who, if they're with a certain group, they act a certain way to fit in. And I think, look, just be yourself. Your true friends are going to like you for who you are. You shouldn't have to change who you are just to fit into a certain group to make people like it. I think young kids now, with social media, put so much pressure on themselves, because I'm thinking these young kids are on antidepressants at 13, 14. I'm thinking, fuck you, live at home, your bills are paid. What's your biggest trouble? Going to school? And because I remember when I was young, it's like, fuck, I hate school. I can't wait to grow up. Now, when I drive past the school, I'm like, you lucky bastard, you don't know how good you got it right now, because, once you get older, now I've got responsibilities, I've got bills to pay. This is the real world now. It's like, fuck, if you got problems at 12, wait till you get 20, 30.
Yeah. Shit's just going down.
That's what's good when you talk about a different variety of stuff, Lee, like that, because it hits different people all the way through, not just bodybuilding and what we're going through in bodybuilding, but just the struggles of young people's lives or even older people. So it's good that you just talk about freely whatever, whenever, because you hit.
I said. Yeah, I think it's always best. That's why I cover all different topics generally, because you can talk about training for so long, which is good, but like people try and, like always said, overcomplicate it. I read so many things and people ask me questions. I'm like, mate, it's not rocket science. It's lifting weights. You want to lose weight and get in shape, bit of cardio, eat clean food. You want to get heavier, bulk up. It's like they say, do you dirty bulk? I'm thinking, what's dirty bulk? And I said, I just fucking eat. If I'm hungry, I eat. If I want to eat it, I don't go, oh, I can't have that. That's got too much fat in it. If I'm not competing, I just eat it. So even with exercises, Lee, what's best? High reps, low reps, this or that. I said, there is no what's best. Just find what works for you. Yes, sometimes going heavy, low reps is good, but then sometimes maybe supersetting, doing more reps is good. So I said, just do it all. No one's better than the other. Or what do you think's better, free weights or machines? I said, do a little bit of both. Why do you have to pick one or the other? I said, just, people are trying to really overthink bodybuilding when I said it's just so basic. Don't make it complicated.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
That's what's great about you, too. There's always no bullshit. No bullshit with you.
Yeah. Because I used to, I done diet for a guy once. I had a guy once, he asked me for a diet and I charged him. He wrote back, is that it? I'm like, what do you mean is that it? He goes, I could have done that. I said, yeah, you could have, but you fucking asked me to. I told you it's basic. I don't know what you're looking for. It's like they're looking for this holy grail of, he's going to give me the secret exercises, the secret diet and the secret drug program.
There's always the secrets.
I wrote a drug program out for my mate once to get ready for the Worlds. He ended up winning. I halved all his stuff that he used to use, and when I sent it to him, he emailed me back. He goes, are you fucking with me? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, that's not enough drugs. I said, well, you trusted me with your diet and training. Trust me with this. He went and won the Worlds. He's like, oh, thank you, Lee. That's the best I've ever looked and the best I've ever felt. I said, see, you don't need these stupid fucking amounts. It's just crazy.
It's overkill.
Yeah.
It is.
I competed at the Arnold's this year, and we did the same thing. We dropped everything. And the guy, Devin, right there in the black, he's my coach. And he dropped everything in half, and it was the least amount that I've took, the best I've ever felt. and
Probably the best
came
you
out the
look
best
for.
I've ever looked. Right.
Yeah.
And I completely like destroyed it there.
But I wish people get more through their head, because I do this all the time, telling people the small amounts. I said, look, if I took 20,000 milligrams, if I did this, I'd fucking tell you. I said, I've told stuff about my sex life that would be more private than this, but for some reason, when it comes to the drugs, as soon as you hear they take a small amount, they think you're lying. Because like I said, someone who I'm talking to, if I say I take 400, they're probably taking 800. And they're like, well, how can you take 4 and look like that? I'm taking 8. You got to be taking more. And it's like, it doesn't work that way. That's why even when Boston was around, sadly, in the end, he learnt that he didn't need those large amounts. It's like I tell people now, what have you got to lose? If you're on a huge cycle now and you think I'm lying, come off for a month or two, clean out. If you want to go back on, but only use half the amount. I guarantee if you're eating good and training hard, you'll make the same exact fucking gains and that on half the gear. You'll save money. Hopefully you won't be doing as much damage internally if you go on half. Because even like I said, me using 400, who's to say 400 might hurt my kidneys or that still or whatever, but who knows? So, but yet I'm just hoping 400's a lot better than taking 1200 or even more. So it just came down to common sense. It's like when I used to use stanozol, I used to take that stanozol every second day. Then I went every third day because that's what you got to do, Lee. That's what I was told. But then one day I was just looking at the bottle of stanozol and it said, you know, sort of veterinarian, for a horse. A horse takes 2 mil per 100 kilos every 2 weeks. I'm thinking, well, a fucking horse that big, 2 mil every 2 weeks. I'm fucking 80 kilos. Why am I taking a mil every second day? I said, that doesn't make sense. So I went to every 4th day, then every 5th day, and I looked exactly the same on stage in the same great condition. Just didn't have to fucking jab myself, because those water-based ones would always, get a little infection, get the red mark around the shoulder, and or even just the fucking, when you go to inject it, then the needle would fucking clog up, and you're like, you fucking cunt, I'm not taking it out.
You fucking cunt. Yeah, Andy over on the other side, he's my coach too, and we stay low. We stay low. We don't go up very high and very minimal. We do maybe a 3 compound if we're doing a show. Yeah. It's way better. It's way better, and you feel cleaner too.
Exactly.
It doesn't seem to aromatize that bad.
You have to have done any more than 4, and like the 4th thing might have been clenbuterol, which I didn't really class as a drug, so it might have been, sus 250, a bit of anadrol, and sometimes only 2 like that. I might swap the dianabol 6 weeks in and swap them over, but I see some guys.
Was that your biggest contest drug, Lee? Winstrol? Was
Winstrol main,
main,
but then towards the end I got sick of taking it. I just went to like sus 250 and dianabol. People are like, that makes you whole water. I said, well, generally when I used to take sus 250 or anadrol off season, the reason I held water was because I'm eating fucking Chinese every second day in McDonald's and fucking Kentucky. But it's like, if you're eating clean and training hard and doing whatever, those drugs don't make you hold that water. I've got in shredder condition using tests and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
Nice. We'll get into a couple more questions. We'll avoid some of the drug ones.
Can you just talk amongst yourself for 1 second? I drank so much water at the gym, I got a piss. I'll be back in 1 second.
Oh yeah, of course, no problem.
I was just at 51. My prostate's fucked, one or the other.
It's like
that didn't go too well. It's like I held in for so long, it didn't want to fucking come out.
It's like someone you're watching. We got a little nervous.
Days when I'm doing cocaine, I'll be trying to piss, and you just stand there going.
Speaking of that, I have to say, your podcast with Fuad was fucking hilarious.
He's never asked me to be on since then. What's happening?
No, I don't imagine. It was mind blowing. I laughed so hard. But unfortunately the stories are I'm assuming they're all true. So I was like, I don't know if I should be laughing at this, but it's fucking funny.
That's why I tell silly stories, which they are all true, but I'm sure people are out there thinking, I've done something similar, or he's crazy. But no one's done that before.
I never seen it. I gotta watch that.
Yes, everyone, I would suggest to check that out.
I'm sure I've done it.
Yeah, when you tied yourself off to the to the table in the living room?
I got introduced, because I never drank, did anything. It wasn't until I was probably 41. The next girlfriend introduced me to cocaine. I'm like, well, that's sort of fun drug. But good thing is I never had an addictive personality. I can do that and not do it for a year or whatever. But this one day I was bored, probably been 6 months. I went and got some coke. Sitting at home, I'm like, what can I do? I'm like, oh, I feel a bit randy. I'll watch some porn. So I put the porn on the big screen TV. And now I'm talking to the TV like, you fucking whore, you dirty whore, you know you want it, blah, blah. You know, because I think she can hear me, of course. Do another line or two. Oh, I might go get the lube now and start masturbating. I'm watching it, so I do that. But then, as you do more coke, you know, all fucking really starts going down.
It's like,
even though it's soft, it still feels good. I'm like, well, how can I stroke it? I'm like, oh, I've got a shoelace. Oh, I know. Got my fucking shoelace off my shoe, tied one end around the end of my cock, and then stretched it out and tied it around the leg of the coffee table. So now I'm just sitting there stroking it while it's stretched. Almost looks like I told Fawad, you know when a barber's cleaning his blade like this? It's like me stroking it. Now I'm yelling at the TV, you fucking whore, and I'm stroking my dick with the lube. My cat gets up on the couch and looks at me. I'm like, don't you fucking judge me, cat. I'm talking to the cat. And I'm just thinking, I just started laughing because I thought to myself, I had this image. I thought, I'm going to fucking die. I'm doing.
It's like, what if he finds you like this?
I watched some porn. I got my cock tied to the coffee table. I said, this is how my mum's going to find me. She's going to find me tied to the coffee table. She's going to fucking cocaine and shit. I'm like, fuck. I said, imagine when she goes out for a cup of tea with her friends and they say, oh, we're sorry about Lee. How did he pass? She'll be like, in his sleep, I think. He'll be like, that was a fun day. I must.
That was a good day.
What a life!
What a life! You're right, Josh. What a life,
man. So that kind of goes into a question.
It's not even like when I met my wife.
Questions went out the window now.
It was like when my wife. I told the story how we'd sometimes get a bit fucked up because she likes tequila and that. But there's sometimes where I think I told Fawad, this is the first night I went to stay and met her in person because we talked online for ages.
Yeah.
I went to see her and in bed she had a knife under the pillow when I.
Oh yes. Right.
And then we're having sex and she pulls the knife out. She's like,
"This is fucked.
I want you to cut me." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "I've always wanted someone to cut me." I'm like, "Oh, that's weird." So I had the knife in my hand. I went, "Oh, fuck it." I went across the chest and it started bleeding. She's like, I love you. I'm like, oh, okay.
What the
that's someone as crazy as me. But that's for having sex. And now I'm on top of her and the knife's there. She's like, you know what I really want? I said, oh, what? She goes, I really like you to stab me. I'm like, stab you? I'd never done it though, thank God. I was still a bit coherent. I said, stab you? She goes, yeah, but not deep. She's like, make a pocket. I'm like, what do you mean make like a hot pocket? Those fucking make a pocket. And she goes, I want you to make a pocket and put your cock in there. She goes, I want you to fuck me in a hole no one's ever been in. I'm like,
oh my.
This is what she says to me. This is what she says to me. I said, okay. I said, let's say I get fucked up and I stab you and I fuck you and then it's bleeding and we've got to go to the hospital. I said, you know, we can come up with an excuse and say you fell on the knife or something. But I said, how am I going to explain the cum in the hole? She fell on, talking to the doctor. She just fell on the knife and I got that excited, like fucking cum everywhere.
And then you married her.
Yes.
Yeah. That's like
match made in heaven, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
How many times were you married, Lee?
Oh my god.
6.
This is my fifth.
Fifth? This is your fifth.
Yeah. She seems pretty cool.
I think next time now, instead of people, if you want to know about marriage, you can ask me anything because I've been through a few. But here's the best tip I can give you. Don't get married. This is what you do. Just go out, find some girl you fucking hate, you can't stand her, and just give her half your shit.
Did you hear that, Devin? Devin, did you hear that one? You got that?
I did hear that one, yeah. I'm catching up to you, Lee. I'm catching up to you.
See? Yeah. What are you on? How many?
I'm going on my third, so.
Oh, there you go. I always figured I was like, I was still friends with him, but I was like that. Remember that TV show Benji or the Littlest Hobo?
Yeah, it's a little hobo.
The dog would go around to a town, help someone, then move on. That was me. I'd go around, get known, help them out financially, give them shit, get divorced, and move on.
Yeah. I hear you there.
You're just so generous. Man. You're just the kind nature kind of person, right? You just love helping.
I'm a giver. What can I say?
Yeah.
I'm a giver. I'm a giver.
So that kind of goes into another part of like the question from Lucas. He just wants to know he wants to hear about life outside of bodying, like after the career is done. Like you got into race car driving. You love.
I was doing that. While I was still bodybuilding. That I used to do road courses and circle track, and one race is doing that. But then I went into the dragsters, and first year in the dragsters, I got rookie of the year and third in the championship, and then the following year I won the championship drag racing. So yeah, I enjoyed the racing and stuff like that. But generally, like I said, it's like bodybuilding or anything. Like I've done a bit of acting with TV shows here and different stuff. Like
I've seen a couple of things.
Body for the first Hulk movie and stuff. But anything that I just seem to enjoy. Like I don't go out to chase after something, but if something comes along, I'm like, well, that's fun. I find that's what people need to do. You see so many people stuck in jobs they hate, and I know sometimes for financial reasons people get stuck there, but they're so miserable and unhappy. So I always say, if you can, always try to do something that you love doing, that, where you, even though it's work, it doesn't seem like work because you enjoy doing it. And if you can find that, it makes life so much more easy. If you really enjoy going to work or doing what you do for work, you can make money at something doing what you love. And that's why I found the racing, because I loved it so much. I was good at it and won the races. Mm-hmm. That's like bodybuilding. I never got into bodybuilding to say I wanted to be a pro bodybuilder. I just wanted to look like He-Man. And because I did well at it, things just fell into place. So I always tell people, if you've got to find that passion, something that brings you joy, if you can make money from it, then, focus on that. Okay, you might be in a shit job you hate right now, but keep doing that. But then just slowly start looking for something else where maybe you can get it going to move on to that brings you joy in that. Because, I always know stress is a big killer and stuff. And I think so many people are in situations, whether it be jobs or even relationships and shit, that just make you miserable and stuff. I've got friends who are in relationships and they're just miserable. And like year after year, I'm going to leave her. They're fighting all the time. I'm thinking, then they're like, oh, it's just too hard to leave. I'm like, you're just slowly killing yourselves. You're just hating each other. I was in a relationship like that once where even when you come home, you don't want to go home because just the tension in the house is that toxic. Just being in the house with them, you're just like, oh, I don't want to be here. So, like, you can't live like that. It's always just, it's just best to, you just got to work out what you want and do it. And, sometimes decisions aren't easy, but sometimes you got to make them. And then when you do make them, you'll be like, fuck, why didn't I do this years ago? So,
oh, man. Yeah. I think Devin and I have both been in that situation for multiple times. Yeah, I very much agree. But those situations too are also like huge life lessons.
Oh yeah,
going into like other relationships too, usually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But they are.
Yeah. Yeah. So, someone wants to know if you're still making your banana bread.
Haven't for a while. I was going through a stage where I was making banana bread nearly every week or day, and then I was making my wife like cheese and bacon meat pies and stuff and that sort of thing. So
yeah, you love your cooking.
But I haven't. I've been lazy now. I just go to the pie shop and buy. Actually, but my wife, because I had like a bad shoulder, my wife was making me like special chocolate cake with edible type stuff in it.
Oh, nice.
And then made me one a couple of weeks ago, and she had like a whole, like, the fried rice containers are about this round and this deep. It was full of ground up head from pot plant. I said, full. So it's like, God knows how many grams it was, and she emptied it all into the cake. I just had the normal size I normally have, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh. Next thing, I fucking can't feel my feet. I start tripping. At least your pain's gone. I said, yeah, but now it feels like I'm sinking into the fucking couch. I went to bed, felt like I was sinking into the bed. When you get to that real trippy stage, it's like
once or twice.
Because your mind's so fucking weird. I'm like, just how I finally got to sleep. I'm like, just go with it. It feels like I'm floating. Okay, I'm swimming.
Just go with it.
Hey, I'm flying. Like,
Enjoy it.
Just go with it. Just go with it.
My wife's like, that's what she said to me the first time she gave me MDMA. I was laying in bed with her.
See?
I'm laying there, all of a sudden, going. I'm like, she's like, go with it. I said, I don't want to fucking go with it. I don't like it. So now I'm starting to panic. My heart rate's going more and more. She's like, just relax. So I'm like, okay, I'll relax. So I just lay there. I'm like, go with it. And then I got all floaty and feeling sexual. I didn't move. And it's like, I remember looking at the clock. It was like 10 a.m. I shut my eyes. I'm like, 2 p.m. I'm like, where the fuck did 4 hours go? I was like, and then I get off the bed. And where I was laying was just saturated in sweat. Like my outline was just like fucking soaked. I'm like, oh, this is fun. It's like the time her sister gave us some of those little fucking cardboard LSD things. Try this trip. She goes, but it's very strong. I only do half. So we get home. I said to the wife, just give me half. She goes, I'll take the whole thing. I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? I said, well, your sister, she does a lot of drugs. She said, take half, take half. No, I did the whole thing. I took it. Holy fuck. For 7 hours, all I saw was fucking multicolored fucking spider webs. Things were moving. I told my wife I had to go off to save the universe. She's like, I don't see anything. I said, that's because you're a fucking dirty mud pig. You don't fucking know what it's like to save the universe. And then I go to the toilet and I come back out. I said, she's like, what were you doing in there so long? I said, I was talking. She goes, talking to who? I said, I got to tell you a secret. I said, I'm a fucking Navajo Indian. She's like, what? I said, the whole time I was in there, I went to take a piss, and when I left the toilet seat up, there was this big fucking wolf in the toilet talking to me.
your toilet animal.
I mean, it got that trippy. I mean, I said, I don't fucking like this. She's like, you're going to be okay. I said, don't tell me I'm going to be okay. I don't fucking like it. And she calls up her sister. She goes, yeah, Lee, I gave Lee the whole thing. She's like, how long's he been going for? She's like, 3 hours. She's like, oh, he's got at least another 4 to go. I'm like, oh
my God.
So anything like that trippiness, I don't fucking like at all. I just don't like it.
So do you think everybody has their own toilet animal?
I don't know. Go find your spirit animal in the toilet. Generally when I look in there, she's like, do you see any more animals? I go, no, I'm just a piece of shit.
Just
the toilet now.
Did you put did you put a mirror in there? Oh, son of a bitch.
Oh my fuck.
That's like weird too. She said to me something like, do you look at your shit when you finish? I said, not all the time, but sometimes they tell you should just have a look to make sure there's no blood in there. So sometimes I just look, but there's no blood. But then I'm like, well, I can't tell if that's blood, or is that red velvet chocolate cake I had, or is that like carrots? It's like I've got to look closer. I'm thinking, here I am standing in the toilet fucking studying my shit to make sure it's not a blood clot, but it's a piece of carrot. I don't fucking know.
How close do you need to get to this thing, right?
Yeah.
You take pictures of it, send it to your buddy. What do you think this is?
I should know. I'll go on Google.
I go to Google.
Google image search,
everything ends up being fucking cancer on Google. You got a stomach pain, bowel cancer, fucking cancer of some sort. So don't go Dr. Google. Everything's fucking cancer.
Oh gosh.
I don't know if this guy named Simon, Sean Simon, asked. I don't know what this means. Yeah, probably. Have you ever farted in a snowbank? Is that?
No. What's that?
Okay, I was like, maybe that's an inside. Maybe that's an inside joke. I don't know. It's like maybe that's a Canadian thing, or is that an inside joke? I have no idea. He's like, or it's just.
I've heard like, yeah, don't eat yellow snow. But what's farting?
That's what we do.
That's what we do
here in Canada.
I automatically think of. I automatically picture a big pile of cocaine and someone farting on it and going.
It'd be a good way to distribute it at a party, probably.
Not here. I don't know what it is in America, but right now, the last time I inquired, a gram of cocaine here is like $350. So, you could go if you had an addiction, you'd be broke very quick.
Yeah.
The last time I did that, I got spent $350 on a gram of coke. It's like, you got your lines lined up here, and you look at the bag, it's almost empty. You got some 4 big fat lines. Oh, fuck. 8 little lines.
Yeah.
gotta make this shit last.
Gotta make shit to shit do. Yeah.
That's just like kind of like poor bodybuilders in their protein powder right now. Fuck. It's so expensive.
The kids listening, don't do drugs, by the way. We're not recommending any kind of drugs. Okay?
Well, no. I think if they heard your stories, I think you're probably scared most people off.
No, you gotta have the people like me who go, wait a minute, that sounds pretty cool.
That's actually sounds fun.
Make sure you use the Nike shoelaces. They're much softer. They're easy to untie. I told that there's this comedian in Australia called Isaac Butterfield. He's like a comedian, always gets cancelled. And I told that story on his podcast, and I'm like, I tied Loft to the coffee table. He's laughing. He's like, you tied Loft to the coffee table? He goes, what is it, a fucking tugboat? You're fucking tying the ship off?
Who's the other? There's another guy, an Australian, Jim Jeffers.
Yeah, I love him, Jim Jeffers.
Oh yeah,
Jim Jeffers. Yeah.
He's Jim Jeffers.
He sounds just like me half the time when I get going.
Oh, I love it. Yeah,
he's
speaking
awesome.
of
He's one of my
comedians.
favorites. Yeah, he's
always using the word cunt and that, and he's like, let's talk about a little bit of rapey and stuff like that.
But like
people
over in
get
Australia,
so offended, like, just have a laugh. It's comedy, for God's sake.
Especially, it's also like the word cunt is just also sort of endearing, right? When you're looking at
in Australia,
over in Australia,
in America, hey mates or this or that, or the black people in America use the N word. Hey, what's up, Net? So in Australia, it's just like, hey, how you going, cunts? What's up, cunts? What are you cunts up to today? It's just like a...
That's like, yeah, that would not fly over here. Not at all. Yeah.
I had a friend that was very Australian. He was like, he used to be an emu farmer, so that's like, think of like the crocodile hunter, that really Australian accent, but really like a bogan, type, very trailer park boys type guy. And we beat the coffee bean in Venice. Girls go walking past, tits out. Oh, love, they're a nice set of fucking tits you got. I'm like, right. I said, you can't say that. Why not? She fucking paid for them. I'm admiring them, and she got some great fucking tits. And I said, oh shit. And this one day she was talking about, there was something on TV, it was a shooting or something with black people. Oh, the fucking blacks doing this, and they're fucking shooting each other, and they're this. And I'm like, psst, Rod. Yeah. Right behind us was a table full of black people. So this is what he does. I go, Rod. He turns around. Oh, fuck yeah, like what I was saying. They're fucking everywhere, aren't they? I mean, like, just...
There's a little...
No filter. Like, he didn't mean anything harm by it, but he was just so basic out. Like,
just so... Damn.
You just stare straight at him and go, yes, like I told you, Lee, they're fucking everywhere. It's like, I think I'm going to get fucking shot here in a minute. Something fucking bad.
Crazy. So you know who the Trailer Park Boys are?
Never erased his bone in his body or anything, but that's just how he was. He just said what was fucking popped in his head. It's just like,
yeah.
So you know who the Trailer Park Boys are over in Australia?
Yeah. Well, they're like only because I know who they are, because I've done a couple of TV shows here called Howzos and Fat Pizza, and it's a similar type of show. They're like really bogany type people and do crazy stuff. I just finished a new TV show with them called Local Council, where I play a parking cop going around giving tickets to people and abusing them. And
that'd be fun.
Well, on Fat Pizza, though, I was in 2 seasons of Fat Pizza. I played the head of the White Power group.
Of course you did.
Sometimes I go down to Beaumont Street in Hamilton. It's a little town, and there's lots of druggy type people out on the streets and that. I don't know how many times I sometimes walk down the street. They look at me all of a sudden. White power, white power. I'm like, oh. They watch TV, but then all these other people around them are looking at me like, what? And I see the tattoos. But it was funny when we filmed a lot of that show. In between filming, the main guy, Paul, he's like, Lee, you and your mates, because I had to get a few of my friends with me covered in tattoos. They're in a bikers club here. So I took 4 of them down. So we're filming it. Then we go, okay, we've got time to kill. Let's go to the coffee shop. So we go in the coffee shop. There's all types of people, Asians, Muslims, and that. They're all staring at me. I'm like, oh, fuck it. I got tattoos. Okay, we look different. I go order my coffee, and the guy's staring at me like this, and he's just like, okay. Like, why is everyone so fucking weird? I realised because
like,
I was finished filming, but I've walked into the coffee shop, and I'm still wearing my big white power T-shirt.
Oh, no way. I was like...
I just totally forgot because I've had on all day filming. It was just a
Just like you
T-shirt
didn't
to
even...
me. It's got fucking white power on it, and I wonder in the coffee shop, everyone's just like, they're probably thinking, don't say a word. If he's crazy enough to wear that, he must be a fucking lunatic.
just accept it.
Yeah.
It was just so funny. The looks I'll get. The place went quiet. I'm thinking, oh, that's weird. And as I said, as I'm ordering my coffee, he's looking down and he's looking at me. I'm thinking, what? And when I finally got it, I looked down and went, oh, fuck, I still got the white power shirt on.
Oh, man. Yeah. The Trailer Park Boys, they're making a movie right now.
Okay.
And, yeah, so I was in it about 2 weeks ago.
The housos with. Okay, the people I did the housos with, I did a movie with them too where I play a bikie, and that it's called Dumb Criminals. I think if you go on YouTube, there's like 5 episodes on YouTube of it that lead into the movie. But it's a pretty funny movie called Dumb Criminals. And all the actual criminal things in the movie, which are pretty stupid, are based on real crimes where, you know, someone went to hold up a place and put a bag over the head with no eye holes in it and stuff. So all the actual crimes that are in the movie are actually based on stupid fucking criminals.
Brought up real stuff. That's awesome. Yeah, they were filming some jail scenes, and I got to be in the jail scenes with Bubbles and Julian.
Okay.
So that was pretty awesome. There was like a huge, I don't know, I'm not even sure if I could talk about it online yet. It's still in production. Probably not. But but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Those guys are great.
I just did a scene not long ago for like the housos, but just a quick scene filmed in a jail where I'm on the telephone talking. I call up and the guy answers. I'm like, who the fuck's this and that? I'm after my girlfriend. It's like, and he's like, oh, it's okay, I'm just gay and that one. I'm just like, but tell her I'm not coming home. I just fucking shanked another cunt in here and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I did a movie once where, what movie? No, a TV show. Oh, that's right. I was on this one called Rescue Special Ops. I played a drug dealer in a gym. I think I'm getting fucking stereotyped a lot in these TV shows as bikies and white power and now drug dealer.
No, drug dealer. Looking back,
but I went to the gym the next day. There's this old lady. She always goes to the gym. She's probably in her 70s. Really nice old lady. She comes over. She goes, Lee. She goes, I seen you on TV last night. She goes, you're such a nice guy. She goes, that's not a good look for you selling drugs in the gym like that. She was so worried that she saw me on TV being a drug dealer. She's like, that's just not a good look for you because you're such a nice person. I'm like, that's just a TV show. It's okay.
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
We'll go back into a couple of the... I don't want to keep you too much longer.
Huh?
Sure. We'll go back into a couple more viewer questions, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Someone wants to know about your car accident, and did that affect your drag racing? Like, how were you? Did that mentally, like, did you have anything to work through, and how did you recover through your car accident?
Well, I still haven't fully recovered. I still got muscle atrophy a bit in my chest here and the tricep because I just got like T-boned and stuff. I didn't think it was bad at first, but that night I couldn't move my neck, and what happened, it crushed my C7 nerve, which goes to these parts of the body. Had one neck operation, wait a year, didn't happen, so I did another operation where I went through the front of my neck. And it was 2015. I was just starting to get ready for the world NABBA World. I was just into my diet when that happened, so that pretty much ended my competing career, the car accident.
Right. Fucking
woman driver. She was actually a woman and fucking French. She was a French exchange student. Fucking idiot.
Oh no.
no one heard being French. She had no deodorant on either. I don't want to stereotype, but you know.
Was she totally okay?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I had to go through like almost 7 years of hell going to doctors and shit because to get money out of it for the accident, I ended up with like, oh, you're going to get this much money. By the time the lawyer took his money, and I got private health, and private health paid for my neck operations, but I didn't know then if you get a payout, they take that money back. We've got universal health care. If you're born here, you get medical Medicare. That was thousands. They took their money back. I'm thinking, fuck me dead. By the time I'm finished here, I'm going to be writing out an IOU. They just kept going down. But the thing was, here in Australia, they go by a percentage. If you're 10% and under impairment, you can only get 250,000. If you're over 10%, you could go for millions, whether it's 11, whatever. So I'd see my doctor. You got 15% impairment. You see the insurance doctor, 9%. See my doctor. This went on for years. And finally, they got these two doctors who were just both sides paid for. They did all the tests. He's 18% permanent impairment. A month goes by, or almost a couple of months. The insurance doctor, we want you to see another doctor. I said, fuck this. I'm not going to keep going back. But this is how bad it was. They would go through my social media because I'd still go to the gym, but I could only use probably like 10 kilos in this arm. I could still do 50, 60 kilos on the good arm. I said, I don't care if they film me. You can see that one arm's smaller now, everything. But I go to see this one. He had all these photos on the table. He's like, what's this photo here? I'm like, that's me and my mum having coffee. He's like, you don't see it. I'm like, I said, see what? I said, it's my mum and I having coffee. He's like, look closer. I'm like, I've got a cappuccino. What do I win? He's like, look at it. And he starts pointing. He's like, this, look at that. Right, I said, what? He goes, in this picture, you're smiling. You can't be in pain if you're smiling in the photograph. No. That's how pathetic it got. Like shit like that. And I'm like, I said, watch this. I went, watch this. See, that took a second. I'm still in fucking pain.
You're smiling.
On this day, you went to the movies. So I think that's when that new Denzel Washington remake of The Magnificent Seven come out. So I went to see that and some other one because I was just sitting at home then fucking on Oxycontin and shit, and I put myself in detox for 2 weeks to come off that shit because I figured I don't need this anymore, and I stopped at cold turkey. Fucking hell, let me tell you. If you can avoid Oxycontin and shit, never fucking take it because it's fucking terrible. So, so I went to the movies. Like, on this day, you went to see 2 movies. I'm like, no fucking excuse me. Right. Get out of the house. It's like, I said I got sick of sitting around the house thinking of how many ways I could off myself, so I decided to go out.
Wow. Anything.
No, but what gets me, so I had friends that, we all have those friends where little car accident, whiplash. Yep. Within fucking 6 months or 12 months, they got $100,000 or more. Here I am, I got a fucking proper injury to stop my career competing, and they act out for 7 years. You're acting out like I'm lying this whole time. I'm like,
why do you suppose that is? What do you think would be the difference? Is it because
big money payout? I think if they got to pay you out a big lump sum of money, they either just try and wear you down and look for every excuse not to pay you. Because I know, I don't know what it's like in America, but here I've spoke to people who work in those insurance things, whereas like say your claim was worth $1 million, they'll either try and wear you down, so in the end you're like, fuck it, I was getting to that point where fuck it, I don't want the money, or they try and slip you up on something so they don't have to pay, or even if it's $1 million, if they can get you down to 250,000, then that guy's just saved that insurance company, $600,000, $750,000. So, and these insurance people who try and get rid of the case, if they save the people money or get the case thrown out, they get bonuses at the end of the year. That's their job, to just wear you
that
down.
Makes sense. That's sad, but that makes sense for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But they didn't wear me down, but they certainly did take all their money in the end.
No. Oh, wow. Yeah. Sarah, she wants to just say a couple things. She's like, I really love your honesty and integrity. The way you speak your mind and live your life is something that I've always admired and tried to mimic within my own life. So thank you for that. And for example, the muscle tech, putting words in your mouth and trying to sell products that you didn't believe in, and you spoke out. So thank you for standing up for us all.
Well, I've always been like that. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah. But it's like, even now when I put stuff up with the company I'm with now, like Mental Monkey and Mental Hamster, I get sick of people going, you're just saying that because they're paying you. And I said, listen, I've been with companies before. If they've got a shit product, they tell you, because I've been that person where, you work hard, you get your money, you got bills to pay, generally, if you're younger or you're married, sometimes you buying protein, you hear it from the missus, what are you buying that for, blah, blah, blah. So,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
if you've got to spend your money, sometimes it's an ordeal. So I've always said, I'm not going to promote something that's fucking shit and have people waste their money on it, because I've been there. I don't want someone to say, Lee Priest said this is the best product. You go spend your money and go, this is fucking bullshit, it's crap. And then people think, I'm not going to believe a word he ever says again. He's just fucking doing it for the money. And I've never been that way. Like, I had a 3-year contract with Muscle Tech, which was pretty good money. But after 8 months, I said, I'm getting out. We'll take you to court. I said, take me to court. I still say your product's fucking shit. I don't give a damn. So they let me out of the contract because I just wasn't going to push it and tell lies to people when it's not true. So if I actually say something's good online, and there's many things that I'll promote online or say it's good, and I'm not even endorsed by the company, or I just get something if I like it, I got no problem saying it's good or bad. So
yeah, wonderful, man. Like, yeah, I wish a lot more people were like that, because there's so much shit products out there, and it's just people are just pushing it and pushing stuff just.
And then I said, well, heyday before I got suspended, or just when I got suspended, I was making probably anywhere from 18 to 20,000 a month with endorsements and that. And then when shit hit the fan, I left Muscle Tech and got suspended. Companies dropped me. I went down. I was just on probably 4,000 a month for a while, and you know, that's a big drop from, you know, up near 20 to 4. But people are like, oh fuck, Lee. I said, yeah, you know what? I said, I can't complain, you know, because I'll just put money away. I said, but look, I still can pay my rent. I've still got food on the table. I can still go to the gym and do what I love doing. So yes, it's less money, but I'm still doing what I love to do. So it never bothered me. At least I didn't sell out my integrity and shit just for the mighty dollar, just to promote bullshit products. I'm never going to be that way. So
yeah, congratulations.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Couple more. I just got a couple more here.
You're right.
So how do I put this? Your popularity in the way.
Thanks for asking.
What?
I said, yes, I'm circumcised. Thanks for asking. That wasn't the question. Oh, sorry.
I was like, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
That threw you off there for a minute, didn't it?
That question was from Bobby. That question was from Bobby, and I just want to put that out there. Yeah.
And that was my
question. Did you do it yourself? Did you do it yourself that night?
The night on the string.
I was too young at that point. I was taken from the mother at the time and just done it then. So
okay.
I didn't have a say. That's child abuse. I want my skin back. I want my skin back.
What do you think that's sustaining your longevity in this sport within like your popularity? So like when you have there's a lot of pros out there and a lot of good pros, but you're like a step ahead and like a mile ahead of all of these guys with like popularity and just like social media presence, and just like your name is still relevant. How are you doing this, and how do you think?
I posted something the other day, and they're like, "Oh, this is irrelevant, cunt." I said, "Do you see how stupid that is? You've actually come onto my page, you follow me, and said I'm irrelevant, and you're commenting to me. So obviously, I must be irrelevant, or you wouldn't be fucking here." But it's like, I think with me, like, I don't know. I think because, like I said, I've never had the ego, and I don't consider myself better than anybody else. It's like when I get ready for the Olympia, I've told the story before, where you get a lot of pros where I want that machine. How many sets you got? Yeah. And I can honestly say to this day, I've never asked anyone that question, because if I want the pec deck and someone's on it, I go, okay, I'll go do flies. There's so many things I can do. But I'd always say too, like, yes, I got ready for the Mr. Olympia or whatever show I was getting ready for. I said, yeah, okay, that's really important to me, but this woman here or guy could be wanting to lose 20 pounds. So to them, that's just as important to them, losing 20 pounds, as me getting ready for Olympia. So I don't have a right to the machine more than they do, you know. So I've always just been that way where, like I said, we're all equal. Okay, I'm a pro bodybuilder. It doesn't make me better than you. Okay, you're a guy that loves training. You come to the gym, you're not a pro, but just because I'm a pro doesn't make me any better than you. It's like, I've got a pro card. Whoop, you fucking do. Big deal. Right. So I think and then, like I said, just talking, I've never, like I said, I have no filter. Maybe I should, but I figured that wouldn't be me. So if someone asks me a question, I answer it. People can take it the wrong way, or they interpret it and twist it around. But I've always just been myself type thing. And I think, you know, if you just be yourself, people are either going to gravitate towards that, or they might think it's too much. But they just never tried to be something that I'm not. It's like I said, you like me or you don't like me. Whereas, you can just see other people act a certain way on podcasts, and this they try and be, oh, yes, that is very correct, sir. Thank you very much. I think, stop putting the fucking act on. Or some try and act too tough or try and act a certain way. It's like, hey, I'm fucking Lee type thing. It's like, people couldn't believe it when I told that story once. I said, look, I got fucking nothing to hide. When the time my wife and I had the threesome with that guy.
Oh, yeah, I remember this. Almost like I was there.
Like blowjobs and stuff like that. They're like, you would know. I said, trust me, you won't know. I said, I'll fucking tell you how you won't know. I was having a threesome with the missus, and somehow something changed around. She's riding him. I'm standing beside the bed, and all of a sudden I feel my cock getting sucked. I'm like, well, she's up there. It's
just
not
kept
her.
Going at.
I went, oh, it's him. It's him doing it. And I'm like, well, I'm in the moment. I just go with the flow. Someone goes, Lee, why didn't you stop him? I said, I didn't want to offend him. He might think I'm homophobic or something. So and the funny thing was, I finished in his mouth, and it didn't even bother him. That I just, went on. I always said,
no warning, nothing.
You won't know the fucking difference. People are like, Lee, I can't believe you told that story. I said, oh, it's in the moment. It just fucking happened. Who cares? That's why people go, you're lying about your drugs. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to lie about my drugs, but I'm not going to lie about a guy sucking me off in a threesome. Oh, yeah, I better fucking lie.
I have my limits.
Yeah, but they just laughed because I said, why didn't you stop him? I said, I didn't want to offend him.
You didn't want to
and to tell you the truth,
again,
job.
You're a nice...
I don't think it was his first time. I think he's done it before.
Well, again, that brings us back. You're just a giving person. You just want to give. That's fine. You're just so generous.
And that's when I see him. I was like, we'll never speak of this again outside this room, okay?
But then again, once it's out in the public and people know, no one can hold anything against you, right? So you
that's
just
what
have.
I've always said. That's one of my main reasons. From day one, I saw Tom Platts do a seminar when I was a teen, and he spoke about, you see the people, you ask him about drugs, you ask him, and they asked him, and he was truthful. I said, that's what I like, be truthful. Now, in all the years I've said, look, this isn't what I'm using. I always say this is what I've used, so I didn't promote using it. But I've always said, you know what, if I'm an open book, and trust me, I used to get in the fights with my girlfriends. They're like, Lee, you're a bit too open talking about this and that and whatever. But I'm like, you know what, if I put it out there, no one can ever say, well, let's say that guy goes, hey, Lee, I sucked you off. If you don't give me $5,000, I'm telling everyone. I'll be like, tell them. I already fucking have. Everybody knows. So, put a face
I love it.
Let them see who it is. So, like I said, if I put it all out there, no one can ever hold anything over me. I'm like, hey, I'm an open book. I don't give a shit what people know. So,
yeah,
love it.
As like I said, I told people to go on this way because I said I blame my mum because it stems from when waxing come out, when women would always wax themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Meant to wax, you put a little bit on, then you put the tape on and you rip it off. Well, I came home from school, I would have been about 12. We had like that fake tile floor, like linoleum, that plastic tile. Now, here's my mum leaning against the kitchen cupboard, naked. So 12 years old, your mum's naked on the kitchen floor. From her waist to her ankle is covered in wax. She melted the wax and covered all her legs. So here's my mum naked, stuck to the kitchen floor with wax, and I got to try and peel her off the floor so she can get in the bath. She had to hop in a hot bath and try and melt it, and as she's trying to pick it off, her legs are bleeding because all this wax is on her legs. So I said, that's what scarred me for life. Until you come home from school and your mother's stuck naked to the kitchen floor with wax, that can do it to you.
Oh, that is what I've not heard. That is.
That's a new one.
You heard it first here.
Holy shit! So yeah, we figured it out, guys. We figured out where it came from. The start,
I told that story once when my father got mad at me because, my father's gay, of course. Yeah. If you don't know, well, he is. People go, "Oh, your father's gay." I'm like, "Oh, newsflash! I've told that years ago." But he's been with his
old.
1 year or more, but I did an interview once and I said, isn't it funny we talk about fate being in the right place at the right time? My father was gay, but he met my mother through the church, thought, oh, Jesus can save you and God can save you, but couldn't. So we went back to being gay. But in that time, my sister was born. So I said on this podcast, I said, imagine if my mum never met my father. I said, I would have been shot up some guy's asshole or over his back. I wouldn't have been fucking born. I would have been like, there's Lee Priest, spat out on the fucking floor somewhere. My dad goes, I don't find that very funny.
That would be so sad.
If you didn't meet Mum, if you didn't come in Mum's vagina, I would have been shot up some guy's asshole. I wouldn't have been here.
Well, I don't know, man. People believe very differently today, though.
Men can have babies now.
Yes.
In America and
yes.
I forgot. Sorry.
So you don't want to say that. I wouldn't go there, right? So. Right.
Maybe that's why I got to pee. Maybe that's why I got to pee so much. It's my tampon pushing on my bladder. I got to go change.
Right.
You did hear that tampon story that one time, did you?
I don't think so.
Nope.
Oh, well, I'll quickly tell you that you brought it up.
Okay.
Same girl that introduced me to the cocaine. We're in a hotel one
night.
Let's do it. And she goes, I'm on my period. You mean you're on cocaine? I don't give a fuck if you're on your period. Who cares?
Oh, yeah, that doesn't really matter.
Go down on her. I get the little string in my teeth and I pull it out. It's
did.
full of blood. I take it up to her mouth. We put the tampon in her mouth and we start kissing, passing it back and forth. And then I take the tampon out of her mouth and I squeeze the blood over her nipples and I lick it off.
It's like
what?
I like these podcasts. They bring back so many good memories.
It's like
if you tuned in to learn anything about bodybuilding and fitness, you're on the wrong podcast.
It's like, sorry, guys.
That went out half an hour ago.
Holy shit!
Just carry on. Don't mind me.
Just get.
What was everybody expecting?
Right? Exactly right. That's why there's a warning before this started.
I did eat chicken and rice and don't abuse drugs and just train basic. I did cover the main points.
Oh yeah, like that's all we really need to know.
Yeah.
After all that said, my dad watches our podcast and he has a question. So, sorry, Dad.
I'll get serious then. It's your dad.
No.
He's probably never done any drugs or anything, has he?
No, I don't know. If he does, he hasn't told me.
You don't picture him and your mum getting fucking freaky and stuff like that.
There was only one time.
Your mother and fucking in the face.
Dad, no.
There's it.
It's horrible.
Now you got the image. You can't fucking get it out now, can you? Imagine me and my mum on the kitchen floor.
At least there's no wax involved. I don't know, man.
I don't know. One day just sit down with your dad and say, Dad, I want to know the worst fucking sex story. He might shock you. He might shock you.
Yeah.
Go, Dad, I can't believe it.
Oh, he's gonna watch this, and I'm not gonna have to ask him. So he'll just
tell you.
Yeah, he'll just come out.
He might say, well,
you think it's cool, but Lisa
driving into country.
Oh God. Oh no, this is gonna be super awkward next time.
Stable, and there was this horse there, and the horse was looking pretty horny. So
it's like the mane was glistening.
Yeah,
right.
Oh my God!
I can't even ask the question anymore. I don't know. It's too serious.
I'm dying over here. I'm dying.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, the question doesn't fit with anything anymore, so we'll just.
What was your dad's question?
He just wanted to know: was there a point where you felt like giving up, and if so, how did you manage to move forward through like when you were in your bodybuilding career? And let's say your suicidal moments. How did you make let's go to both. And how did you break through those barriers?
You're right. Stupid fucking question. Move on.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
Right? Sorry, I told you.
No, I never. No, with bodybuilding, no, because I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed the training. Competing, I didn't really love. I know there's some people, if they don't place well or do stuff, they're like, I want to quit. But to me, like I said, I'm getting paid to do something I love, so I never really had that. Even when I get suspended and stuff, it's like, good, I come back. I know I'm annoying the powers that be and judges, so just doing that gave me lots of enjoyment. But then the time I went to commit suicide, yeah, like I said, there was nothing like, normally when you think people commit suicide, there's something that maybe it's been on their mind forever, a bad relationship, so it's building up and building up and building up. Mine was just that in the instant type spur of the moment, never thought about it, doing it beforehand. It's just, they say 2 to 3 hours, I went down that fucking dark place rabbit hole, and like I said, if it had been a gun, there would have been no coming back. So, no, I generally don't really have those type of moments. I have down days and stuff like that, but then I figure... my down day, I've always been one of those, I can't really complain because I know there's people out there that have real fucking issues. I see people complain, oh, fuck, the internet's down. I'm like, oh my God, that's worse than getting in a car accident, losing a fucking leg or fucking whatever, isn't it? So
a career,
the shit that people get stressed about today and stuff like that, I'm thinking, really? It's like I used to think, we had great-great-grandparents that lived through the time in life called the Great Depression. I'm like, and they fucking survived. I think today, sadly, when back then people had harder manual labour type jobs, people were working. I think now a lot of people just have too much time on their fucking hands, so they just sit around complaining about more, being bored and shit like that. I'm thinking, how can you be bored? There's so much things you can do, but if you get caught up just in, like I said, now we've got microwaves to heat up food quicker, washing machines. You've got everything that makes life so much easier than before you'd have to make food from scratch. You'd have to wash the clothes back there by hand. So there were so many things that required manual labour that took up time. Now we've got everything that, gives you more time, but people go, oh, I don't have time, or I can't do this. I'm like, you just got shit management skills, or I don't have time to do that, but they'll sit on their fucking Facebook for 3 hours looking at mindless, dumb shit, just fucking scrolling and scrolling. So I think sometimes when you get that, people say they haven't got time, but I think because they're not busy enough, so they sit around, and if you sit around, of course, you can think good or think bad. Generally, if you think bad, then it gets worse and that sort of thing. So I just try and stay busy. But then again, I'm that fucking retarded now. And people go, Luke, can't use the word retarded. I'm like, yes, I can, because I'm retarded. I'm talking about myself. I'm not offended at all.
You're not offended.
And then I said, look on the bright side. If someone who's really retarded is watching this show, they don't know what the word retard means anyway. So they're just sitting there going, colours, colours. So, fuck them.
They're just going to be laughing.
Lee's just like me. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
All right.
Well, wow. There goes the podcast channel. It's nice knowing you.
It's going down.
Yeah. The last
this will
one.
get us some views, Josh.
All right. That's fine.
This ain't getting monetized. We just lost the channel now.
Shit's going down.
Let me go get my MAGA hat. That'll really top it off for white supremacy.
Put your shirt back on. Put the white power shirt on. We're ready to go.
In the White House, but I don't know where it come from.
Oh man.
Oh fuck.
I got one more for you, and then I don't know if you guys have anything. Before, don't want to keep too long. How'd you?
Get us out of here! Fucking out!
Like I think we should have been gone a long time ago, guys.
I listened to this all night long.
That's my wife's calling. I gotta go. See you, Lee. See you. Is there going to be a big disclaimer? These are Lee views only. We do not agree with any of these views or anything.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I will do that. But it's funny as fuck.
It's funny as fuck.
Yeah. How'd you and Dave Palumbo hook up? You guys are like awesome. Your guys' energy is great together.
Once. I think we met at an expo. And even I remember when I was with MD at the time and he wasn't. because when it was with MD, you couldn't do interviews for other magazines or shit, which I
Yeah.
hate. I'm like, why can't I do it? So Dave would come over, Lee, can we do an interview? I said, I really can't. I said, Dave, what you do is just turn your camera on and just start asking me questions. I'll pretend I don't know it's there and do the fucking interview. So I used to do it that way. And then when it came out, Steve Blackman's like, Lee, you did an interview for them. I said, what? He was recording that? Oh, my God, I didn't know. Fucking hell.
Oh,
I think that's how we met. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I think it's just an expo and stuff like that. But I'm going to be starting the new show soon with Jimmy. Jimmy the Bull and I are going to do our own
I've seen
show.
the preview for that.
And it's going to have things on it too, like confessions. So if you have anything to confess, you can remain nameless, and they're going to send it in. I'm going to read out what people have done. You know, could be more coffee table type people out there. And I'm just going to, read it out, the confession, so they can confess to me. I got a priest outfit somewhere.
I've seen the picture for it. It's fucking awesome.
Nothing wrong with that. It's like, you got to love the Catholic priest, if it wasn't, like you go to Catholic church and, they get in there and they molest the little boys, but I say, hey, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have got my first sexual experience. They come around. Well, you see on TV, they get the fucking, like this, the wine. And
the wine.
They wipe it and then they bring the wafer around. Well, he put his cock in my mouth. Like, this is the body of Christ. I'm like, that's your fucking cock, mate. I know what a fucking cock is. That ain't a fucking wafer biscuit like I seen on TV. Jesus Christ, I said. So, God bless the Catholic priests, I say.
Oh, they're good people.
Where shall we go next? The Jews? Want to talk about the Jews? It's the internet trying to shut me down, so they're trying to freeze me out.
It's snowing.
It's actually you, isn't it? You're trying to disconnect.
It's like it's not working. The abort button.
You pushed stop recording 30 minutes ago. The last you'll hear me say is just train basically and don't do many drugs, and then you'll come on and say, due to technical difficulties, we lost the rest of this interview.
Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe. Yep.
Hit the bell button. Ding.
And don't use wax.
To the wax.
Oh, fuck.
Oh. All right, you guys have anything? I'm like taking up all of your guys' time down there. Didn't get much.
No, I'm good, man.
I'm actually spent from laughing so fucking much. I'm done. I'm
good.
good.
We're not game to ask you a question because it's going to go in a different direction.
No, that's
Yeah.
I want to know if you ever get the urge to compete anymore. Is that something that's totally off the table with you?
I do. Like I said, because sadly my career ended from an accident. It wasn't like, I would have loved to have that where, okay, I'm done. This is my last show. Leave on my terms. So having that accident sort of got rid of that. And like, this little bit, like I got that little bit of atrophy here. It looks like a chunk's taken out of my chest, like Papa Steiner has. What's his name? Scott Steiner.
Oh, Scott,
and then, like,
yeah.
If that ever came back and I had the arms come back a little bit now and stuff like that, I
With your arms.
Huh?
I'm pretty sure they're there.
Yeah, but it's like, because I can see it, but just for but if that wasn't there, I would seriously think about doing the Masters Olympic, because everywhere else, I still got the size, and if I come in condition, like my last show to Universe in 2013, that's probably my best condition ever when I was 42. And I haven't stopped training, even when injured, I still kept training, so, even on minimal gear, I think I could come back and still be okay if it wasn't for that, so yeah. I would like to. If none of that happened, the accident, I probably would still be competing now, so. The judges would be like, "Oh fuck, we still can't get rid of this cunt. He's back again. Fuck, he's 50. He's still fucking."
I think that's what they say. That's what they say about me too.
Or I'd go do a little show, and if I won it, I'm like, "Oh, can I give a speech? I want to thank all everybody else." And I have to be, "Fuck you, cunts, I'm back." And they'd be like, "Suspend him." I'll be like, "Yes, I'm suspended again." They'll be like, "The fucker got us again, that bastard."
They got us again. So I gotta. If you so we're also amateurs, or we're a little bit older. But I don't think, well, pro cards maybe in our year, maybe a pro card like Masters or whatnot. But if you weren't as good as you were, would you have still kept going and just competed just to do it?
I don't know if I would have competed, because you have to be realistic. If I got to the point where I was spending heaps of money on shows, like I said, even take the drugs out, just dieting alone and going through that 12, 16 weeks where really you don't want to do anything, even with the family. I can't go there, I've got to eat this meal, I've got to do this. So just being that whole, you miss out on so much of life. So I don't know if I would have kept competing. I'd be like, okay, look, I might have done okay at shows, but I'm not good enough to go that far. Then maybe if you wanted, sometimes, you know, if you've got a goal like a contest, it's easier to get in shape for because you've got this goal. So for that reason, do it. But I just love training. So if I got to the point where I wasn't going to turn pro and that, and I might stop competing, but I'd never stop training, I'd still love to do that sort of thing. Yeah, but, you know, sometimes you might know you're never going to turn pro, but you still might love the competing, getting on stage, going through the dieting and getting good photos, because you always feel good and look good. So I wouldn't discourage it, but you just need to know sometimes. I just don't want to see guys who, I've seen people not take jobs or ruin relationships because they have this dream of turning pro, and they put everything into one basket, that they let other opportunities go by where they could have probably made money or been good at it. But because they're so focused going here, 10, 15 years go by, they're still pumping the drugs, getting old and nothing's changed. I'm thinking, you know, you've got to be realistic with yourself when it comes to that sort of thing. So I say never give up. If you enjoy doing it, do it, and that sort of thing. You know, we all have different goals, but you also got to be a realist and, you know, do what's best for you. And then if you've got a family, your family, and, you know, still it's got to make you happy and stuff. And like I said, because I've seen so many people miss out on family functions and this and that because they're competing or dieting, and then sadly a family member dies, and because, you know, you always think they're going to be there forever, so you might not do this and do that. Then, you know, the last time you could have seen them would have been if you had to go into this family function that you didn't go to. So that's happened a bit over time. So I just try and say, eventually I was like that in the beginning. I can only bodybuild, I can't go here, can't go there. You want to come out here, go for a walk? No, I'll burn muscle, I got to stay home. You know, it's like, you know what, as long as you get your training in, you get your dieting in, if you're dieting and that, as long as you time things right, you can still go out and have a life, go to the movies, go out with your friends. As long as you stay focused on your training and your diet and that, you still can have a life outside. I know some people go, oh, I know you've got to be 100% all or nothing. You don't have to be. You need that sort of, you know, when you're at the gym and dieting, but then you also need something else to keep your mind off it, because if you just sit there, when I made the comeback for the universe, I was single at the time, I'm making a comeback, I'm like, okay, it's 2013, I haven't competed since '06, I'm going to NABBA. If I don't look good, I don't want to read on the internet, oh, you fucking dickhead, you look like shit. So every day I just sat thinking about dieting, training, how I'm going to look. And after a month, I'm like, fuck, this is tiring, more mentally, because I'm putting so much stress on myself. And then I met my wife at the time, Jade, and she had 4 kids. And she moved down. People were like, oh my God, that's a big distraction, 4 kids. I said, yeah, but it's actually good, because I would go to the gym now, train, do what I had to do. But when I come home, of course the kids were like 2 and 4 and that, I'd go out, play with them, take them to the beach. It actually gave my mind a break because I was doing other things. But then when I come home, I'd eat my meal and then go back to the gym. I was focused again. It wasn't 24/7 training, dieting. You know what it's like. You lay in bed. How am I going to look? Is this
100%?
Man, so drained. I said, look, get ready for contests physically. Training and cardio, that's easy. But it's the mental mind games that come into it that are so draining and taxing that it's more mental than physical half the time. So,
yeah. It's like even like on the amateur level, we would, you know, it's the first thing you think about when you wake up. It's the last thing you think about when you're going to bed, and it's exhausting. And
you like those days, you look in the mirror, you go, fuck, I look great today. Wish the contest was today. I look shredded. I look good. The next day, you can look exactly the same, but you look in the mirror, you go, fuck, I look shit. I'm not doing the show. Fuck it. It's just like this whole mental thing in your head here. It's like crazy.
Yeah, we're all a little fucked up. So.
Yeah, just throw in pussy cunt comes that, just because that was a very good answer I gave, and I didn't swear once. I just thought I'd throw that in at the end so they still know it's me talking, not AI.
So no, we didn't improv somebody in there.
Yeah. That's still serious. He's actually talking some serious shit about training and thinking about dieting and shit. That can't be Lee. Motherfucker, that's cunt.
So what we'll do, I'll cut that part out, and that will be the beginning teaser. That will get people into it. Then it's all fucking downhill.
Was Lee really here, or was he AI generated? And that's sometimes too when I act stupid on these podcasts, people go, "Oh, he must be on drugs," and I say, "Oh no!" I said,
No.
"Listen, as dumb as and crazy as I am now, if I'm on drugs, you'd fucking know it."
Fuck.
On that note, you guys have anything else to say? Any questions, Andy?
Just
Just that
No,
Lee,
that
we
was
used
awesome,
to look up
man.
to
That
you.
was awesome.
We used to look up to you, Lee, but you're a fucking dickhead.
You're like,
No.
Devin.
this
Devin.
is yeah. Go
No,
ahead,
that was
Dev.
great, man.
It's
I
like,
told you,
Awesome.
once I get off here, you got to stay on there and you're going to be like, I told you we should have got fucking Jay Cutler on, not Lee.
son of a bitch. Devin left and went down, took down your picture and came back, I'm pretty sure.
What's that?
I said Devin got up and left and took down his picture off his wall.
No, I was
He's like,
I was offended. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't believe
There's
you
no
spoke like that. How
there's no
disgusting.
offending this store.
Yeah.
This is our last podcast for sure. So I just
All
want to
right. Say see you later, guys. Yep. Thanks for coming.
I'm glad that you brought me on for your last one. I feel good.
Yeah.
Lee, it was
You're the reason, cunt. It's our last one.
Son of a bitch.
it was an absolute honor to have you on here with us tonight.
Thank you.
Really, a lot of
I
great
look forward to
stories, a lot
coming
of
on
fun.
again when you're on Patreon
Yeah.
next. I look forward to coming on.
Patreon. Yeah, we'll try. That or
Because you're
OnlyFans.
being on
Yeah.
YouTube, you have to go to Patreon.
Yeah, we'll be moving over. Maybe we'll make some money off of that one.
We'll be posting
Yeah,
our
thanks.
videos to Twitter.
We'll have to chop it all up.
I guarantee you, when I was a kid, I never thought I would talk to Lee Priest, and
No.
even though it's just through what we're doing here, it's absolute honor to have you on here and talk to you.
No, thank
Really.
you.
Yeah.
But like I
Yep.
said in the beginning, as you probably just realised, I'm just a normal fucking dickhead like most people.
Like all
I'm
of
sorry
us.
that I'm sorry you looked up to me thinking, oh Lee, he's this, he's that, and you're like, oh fucking hell, that's a bit of a nutcase, isn't he?
No,
Yeah, thanks. Thanks
Yeah,
for
never
coming
meet
on.
your heroes.
It's real honor.
Sorry.
Exactly. I
This
just
is-
ruined that, didn't I? Sorry.
it even made it better. It made it better because now we kind of get the more down to earth Lee, so
Yeah.
we know that part too. And it was absolutely amazing.
No, it's good being on. Sorry I couldn't get on yesterday. I saw it there, then I went, oh fuck, because this person come around. My dogs were registered in another state. Now, I've got to be registered in this state, and I'm like, oh fuck me dead. Like, Jesus, what are you going to do? Take the dog because it's not registered like a fucking car? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had to go down and register them?
yeah, because I registered when I brought him in Queensland. I changed all the registration papers over, thinking, okay, they're registered, but that's another state up north, New South Wales. It's only $70 for the whole time, but then because the male was still growing, I didn't get him desexed yet because the vet said wait till he's fully grown. Well, if he's not desexed, he's $290. I'm like,
No.
oh, I'll cut his
The hell?
paws out right now. Wait a minute, I'm not paying the extra money. So I got to get the letter from the vet saying that she said put off his desexing for another year or so, just so I don't have to pay the $290. I only pay $70 on that. It's all just local councils, government, just fucking any
Oh,
money
right,
they
yeah,
can.
Yeah. I think again, no matter where you're at, that's just
Yeah.
You're just looking for it.
Exactly.
That's the government.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. It's okay that didn't work out. Tonight was fantastic, and it doesn't matter. Got you on.
Yesterday you were like, that fucking arsehole cunt Lee Priest.
I was like, I'm not-
We fucking organized time.
I was like, sorry, boys, we're probably never going to hear from him again. It's like I told everybody, everyone's looking forward to this. So I'm like,
now you're wishing you didn't. Now you're
Yeah.
wishing you didn't.
I was like, fuck. I was like, oh no. I was like, all right. Awesome, guys. Thank you very much,
Awesome.
Lee. Appreciate
Thank you,
your
Lee.
time.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot,
Anytime.
Lee.
I'd love to come back on again. You're like, fuck no.
Yeah.
Definitely want him back on again.
If you want to
yeah.
see Lee Priest,
If you
back
start
on
your own
again,
podcast, maybe, Jamie.
click the like button, hit the
Oh, we got another one in
button,
background.
and leave a comment. Leave a
Leave-
comment. We want Lee Part 2 down here somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You what?
And next time, I won't tell you now, but next time I come on, I'll tell you all about the time my girlfriend took the enema.
Boom. Part 2.
When you say you're happy like a pig in mud, I took it literally. So we'll leave it there till next time.
All right, guys. Peace. Thanks, Lee. We'll see.
All right, thanks, Lee.
We'll see you for part 2.
Thanks, Lee.
Thank you.
See you.
See you.
Go grab a string and a bag of Coke now.
Thanks.